Hello and good morning or almost afternoon. My name is Lorraine Brock. I am a professional organizer and owner of a company called Get Organized. And each week on Tuesdays, I bring you an episode of Tip Tuesday, which is all about getting organized, getting your home, your business, or your life organized. And today we're going to be talking about organizing the snacks, all the snacks that you have in pantries and cabinets. So it's really going to be something very practical that you guys can go back and actually implement some of these ideas in your own space. Now, I want to start with just talking about what's at the end of our segment. We've had some recent conversations with people and they said, well, I don't even know you gave away something every week. Well, we do. A lot of our talk about next week's topics, about prizes giveaway, who wins last week's prize, all goes at the end of our episode. So if you want to fast forward it or watch the entire episode in its entirety, you could always go towards the end of the program. But we wanted to mention that at the beginning that we give away some type of organizing or product tool that will help get your life, home, or business organized at the end of each segment or towards the end. So make sure you listen for that and you look for that so you can have a chance to win each week. Well, this topic today is something that is really near and dear to my heart. Food, snacks. And we're going to be talking about how many tips we have today, actually. Let me look. We have 4 tips today. No, actually 5 tips today about organizing your snack. And I want to give you a little bit of a background of why this is so important to me. So people that may not know us, I have a family of 5, or had, should I say, my husband, myself, and then we had 3 boys. Our oldest son is married with 3 kids. So now we have grandkids that come over and get snacks. So it's important not only if you have empty nesters, you're an empty nester, but if you have grandkids come over, you're going to want to listen to this. We have always had issues with snacks, not necessarily eating them, but maybe eating ones that are not yours. Maybe it could be, now I'm going to take snacks as in, you're not going to like this, but I'm going to say like candy, granola bars, more dry content. We're not talking about things that would go in your refrigerator or fresh fruit setting out on the counter, which fruit might go in this a little bit. But we're talking more dry snacks. And what has happened over the years is we have been in competition for certain snacks that moi would buy. The child would grab them. The young adult would grab them. To this day, we're going through a phase right now of 60% Keiko chocolate chips, the dark chocolate. It's become a problem. I think we need counseling. It's really a problem. I go and buy the Sam size 60% chocolate cocoa chocolate chips, and we use them in crepes. We use them to put into yogurt, bake with, of course, put them on top of waffles, and not necessarily all the time, but sometimes. And my sons that are at home, 2 of them, they have taken a liking to eating these as a dessert, a snack. And what will happen is, I should have brought the bag up here. They will go hide them all around the house. So recently we've been doing a sprucing up, not quite a remodel, but a sprucing up of my husband's office. We have found them in moving things around the house. We just found a bag upstairs in the theater room in one of the media drawers, like where the DVDs are. That's where the chocolate chips were stored at, in the DVD drawer upstairs. Made no sense, but to him it was hidden. We also found one recently in a tall vase on our mantle. One of my boys had stuffed the chocolate chips in there. And then when one of the sons found them, he put them in between the couch where you sit, like the cushion spread. He shoved them down into there in a bag that was sealed. It's gotten really bad. It's hours comes around and I'm like, I'm ready to go have my leftovers. I go to the refrigerator and it's gone. Food's an issue at our house. No one respects each other's food. I do. I respect each other's food. We just have certain individuals in the house. Talking today about snacks and organizing them in your cupboard of a backdrop. I wanted to give you a little bit of backdrop of a little bit what my children do. I say children, they're young adults now, but they're still in the home and they're still eating the snacks that don't belong to them, and it's a problem. So one of our things that we do in our family, and this is not a tip, is to label our food. So whether it's a leftover, okay, let's say I bought this, and I know this appears backwards, but let's say I bought the snack and it was for me, or let's say it's for my husband because he's doing some things that we're watching the contents here. I would put on here Keith or Dad. And normally it's respected once the label goes on there. Normally, if someone's really desperate for food and mom's low on groceries, it could be empty. The box could be left in the pantry. Particularly these these are applesauce, those squeeze things. I buy these not for the grown-ups, but for the grandkids, because sometimes we go out to zoos and activities and I need something really fast that I can hand them that doesn't require a spoon. So I keep these types of things on hand for grandkids. This is not for the adults to go have a snack with, because when the grandkids get over, it's not going to be here. So anyway, labeling our snacks has become really important. So you don't eat somebody else's. But if it doesn't have a name on it and someone stops by that's in our family and goes to the refrigerator or freezer, it's fair game. It's totally fair game. So just know, even when I buy things for parties and I put them in the freezer, I have to label it before I put it in, because it will get eaten. So it's a really bad situation that we're trying to get under control in our home. So everyone has their own space for snacks, and we're and with their names and stuff, and hopefully the end result is that we get to keep our snacks until we get to enjoy our snacks. All right, so our 5 tips today, I'm going to start with number 1, is take snacks out of their original boxes to save the space and to see them better. Normally, when I get groceries, I will take boxes like this and I will completely open them and take all the snacks out and put them into some type of container like this one. And I normally like to, if it's going to be someone's specific container, obviously I'm going to have to label the container, because if this is a specific snack for someone in my family, you will save a lot of space, be able to see what you have more if you'll take things out of this. You know as well as I do, when these boxes are not completely full, even when they're full, like you'll have space left over in it and it's actually wasted space, but the box looks bigger, so you think you're getting more. And it's wasting space in your pantry, especially when everyone has eaten them all and the last one is just in there like this. You're really wasting space now. So when I buy groceries, normally what I'm doing is taking out boxes, taking them right away, putting them into the trash, and then taking these and putting them into some type of container that's going to hold the snack depending on the person that it is for. So that is tip number 1. Take out snacks from the original packaging or boxes and put them in spaces. Now, obviously, you want to have them in the individual packages, right? If you buy a big bag of popcorn, that would not apply, but we'll talk about that towards the end. All right, tip number 2, create zones for snacks depending on who the snack is for. So a few years ago, I was in a client's home and we had organized her the pantry and all the cabinets, and she had gone in there to look at what we had done. And she said, this area right here, these things need to come out. They won't work in here. And it was snacks for her husband. I don't remember any of the snacks except that one of them was specific flavor of chips. She said they cannot be with the other snacks because the family will get them. We need someplace out of sight, out of mind. And what we had originally created in her kitchen when we organized it, we created a pull-out drawer in her kitchen that all her husband's wallet, keys, coins, change, business cards, whatever he brought home with him, that was his drawer to keep things off the counter and to put into a drawer, and it was completely his drawer. Organized it was great. And there was lots of space left over, and the drawer was quite big. So she said, let's go ahead and divide the drawer and let's put his snacks in the drawer, which, we didn't know that at the time that those were his specific snacks. And that's the things you want to learn about your clients as you go. And we ended up having a great space for his snacks, and he was very, very happy because now that the snacks were in the pantry where everyone could see them, he was trying to hide them behind boxes and bags. And now he had his own space that no one was going to be able to get into. So I would recommend, whether you're empty nesters or whether you have kids at home or even grandkids, that everybody have their snacks that they know where they can pull from, or ones that they know that they don't want anyone else to have. The zones, for example, you might want to have would be, if you have kids in school, you might want to have like a zone for just lunch snacks, things that you would pack in their lunchbox versus after school snacks or weekend snacks or evening snacks. Because what frustrated me, one of the biggest things that frustrated me is the kids would come in there during their school age years and eat their snacks that I had specifically bought for lunch. And then when I went to pack lunch, there was nothing in there. And I'm like, now I'm going to have to go run to the store, or you're going to do without, or you're going to get something you don't like. So you need to identify, and maybe that means at a different level that you keep it at. Maybe it's a completely different container at the very least, or maybe a completely separate space. You decide that based on your space, but definitely organize. My husband has a bin above the cabinets. I really don't have a lot of snacks. I have a few, and I have like one place next to his. But my two sons that are still at home completely have their own space. One of my sons has a half of a shelf that's just his, and another son has another cabinet on the other side of our kitchen that is just for him. He keeps his energy drinks there, or his protein powders, or his certain foods that he wants. But if you're going to mix them with the community of all of our snacks and pantry items, you best label them, or most likely they're going to be taken by somebody else. And people stop in the house and they get snacks. They don't know any better. They just grab a snack. If you don't have people visiting, you probably won't have a problem, but we have people visiting. I'm like, don't eat this. I remember my daughter-in-law one time went out to the garage and there was I think a 7-Up or something out there. And one of my boys had went and bought it, and they labeled the top of it their name. And then I saw her go get the drink and bring it in. I'm like, oh dear, she's going to get it, drink it, and they're going to be furious. Well, she went to go open it and she goes, oh, and she took it right back out there. It was a downer for her, I know, but it saved my son's drink, and the labeling worked, so to speak. Okay, so create zones for snacks depending on who the snack is for. And make sure that you're labeling it, it's clear, and that you let them know that when you buy things from Grocery Day, that you're going to put it in there. So I normally, when I'm unloading, my kids bring all the groceries in, and then when they bring everything in, I put it away. And so I let them know that I put their snacks in their area. Sometimes if it's a community snack that I know everybody likes, I might put a couple in everybody's, or it could just sit on the counter and be free for all, whatever I have time to do. Okay, tip number 3, label well. So after school snacks versus kids snacks, I gave you that example. Label them. Don't just put them in bins. Let's say you do have a guest that's coming over. If things are labeled, they're probably going to think twice before they stick their hand in somebody else's basket that says Dad Snacks. They're like, ooh, nope, stay away from that. So label really well. And I'm not talking about labels today, but one of the products that we have here, this is a basket that I picked up at Walmart, and it actually came with a chalkboard label on it. This would be something you could label. They have clip labels. They have string labels that go through the wicker here and actually tie on. Clip-on ones. I mean, there's a plethora of them, but you definitely want to make sure you do some labels, and this is where you can get really cute labels and make the pantry sort of look really polished. It's a very inexpensive way to make an area look really organized in that polished look. Also, if you're wanting to know about labels, we did a segment, I have no idea, in the last 12 months, but it's all about labels, and you can go back on YouTube and find that Tip Tuesday on labeling and watch it and get some ideas and some cool different labels that we showed. All right, so tip number 4, consider pre-packaging snacks if you buy things in bulk and versus buying individually. I told you, so these things I'm buying individually, I don't have to pre-package them. But if I bought a whole bag of, say, popcorn, then I might want to narrow that down into pre-packaging those Ziploc bags full of popcorn to be put in the pantry, and maybe I'm pre-packaging them for school snacks. So it'd be really easy to pull out. So just get Ziploc bags for big bags of chips. You can do it for bags of cookies. You can, if you're doing like cold things like pickles or olives, or if your kids like to eat that kind of stuff, you can always pre-bag the fresh stuff as well and keep it in the refrigerator. And that way you can do it like on a Sunday night, and then they pull out what they need, whether it's a dry snack or in the refrigerator, and they can put it in there. Or if you're working, you can do the same thing to make things really quick. It's like food prepping. I do a lot of that with celery, green onions, cilantro, chives. I get all of it in bulk, and then I chop it up and put it in containers for when we need it, and we use it throughout the week. It's almost the same thing like that, but I'm putting them in individual packages for lunches, or you could use them for snacks. And I normally do this on Sunday when I'm getting prepared for the next week, if you're going to be packing your kids' school lunches or, again, work lunches as well. If you're doing it every morning before you go to work, problem is you're repeating that action 5 days a week, probably. And then that just, you think about all that time that it takes and you keep doing that over and over, that's a lot of wasted time. So we want to try to get you to be really efficient. Okay, so tip number 5 is storage ideas for snacks. And I've got a lot of products around me. I want to show you, give you some visuals of what ideas you can use. One of the things that I saw recently online was someone used a clear shoe organizer and put it on their pantry door and basically kept all these kinds of snacks in the clear shoe organizer. And I thought, that would work. It's definitely not accessible to all people if you're not an adult, because the kids couldn't get up high. But also when things come in like this that are really full boxes, I would take up a lot of pockets just to put these applesauce packets. So I don't know for me if that would be the way that I would want to go. If I had a lot of individual snacks, that might be a way to go, that they're not a lot of the same. But keep in mind, that's an option if you want to use a clear shoe organizer on a pantry wall or a pantry door to put in miscellaneous snacks for your family. We talked about opening boxes, and we're going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a idea of what I'm about to show you. I do this in my pantry, so it's something that I actually do. So I have a reach-in pantry. If you want to call it a walk-in, you can go in there and stand in the middle, but it really is not like you can walk around. It's actually pretty small for the house we have, but it does us just fine, and I'm very happy with it. I do have one of these in our pantry. Now, this is actually a shoe organizer that I purchased at Container Store years ago. It is a stackable shoe organizer. You can see on the end that you can put another one here and it just stacks. But when you're looking for your kitchen and you're looking for these wire shelves, don't just look either online or in stores in the kitchen department. Sometimes they can actually be in the closet section in this case, and be able to do exactly what I need it to do. So give you an example. Let's say there's a shelf that's the bottom of the shelf, the wooden shelf, and then here's the next shelf in your pantry. And I realize everyone's pantry different. I'm just sort of giving you a little bit of mine. So the shelf can be really long or it can be really short, like wall to wall. What you can do is buy some of these and stack them, down your shelf if it's long, or just insert one of them if that's all the space that you have. And what you're going to create is you're going to try to maximize your space in your pantry. And to do that, a lot of people waste space. What they'll do is they'll take boxes like the applesauce box, and let's just pretend this is the wooden shelf, the bottom. They'll put that on the shelf, and then they'll put this on the shelf. And after a while, you start having all this space between where the next shelf is that you're actually wasting. Now, this is not much wasted space, but this is, and if something's even shorter, you're wasting more. So a lot of people have a lot of wasted spaces in their cabinets and in their pantries that an organizer's eye would normally catch and say, we can utilize this space and we're going to maximize it and be able to create more space for you. That's sort of our job. So what I would end up doing is I ended up going to Container Store. Again, you can go to any store and do this. You would have different types of containers. I measured from the inside here to here. I didn't measure my shelf. I measured this product because this was going to set on my shelf and I needed to find product to go in between here. So what I did is I measured it and I came up with the measurements for these 3 items to actually fit in between that space. There were 2 of these sizes and 1 of a smaller size. So there was totally 3 together. And what I did was, and I'm going to move the camera down for a second so you can sort of see what. All right. So what I did is I took these things right here and I just put underneath here. And what I created was a little drawer system where, of course, if I did it your way where you can actually see it a little bit better, I'll do it this way. I'm going to turn this a little bit more, guys, so you guys can see it. So here I created a little drawer space here where you can just pull out, and the snacks for whatever you might want could be in each of these drawers. So the smaller one, I think mine actually has popcorn in it or something like that. And I can take these snacks and actually put right into the drawer. And it created a little drawer space. I might do, maybe if I were you, if you had kids, grandkids. I have one that's just completely grandkids snacks. I have one that's more of our snacks. Like my kids never get the grandkids snacks. Or these might go in to one of the drawers. So when you need something, instead of taking this out and lifting it out, you're pulling it out like a drawer and getting what you need and pulling it back. And they're see-through. So could I label it? Yes. Do I need to? No. Well, remember I told you the bottom of the wooden shelf is this table. And then the next shelf is right here. So I still have a little bit more room up here than that I can do something with before that next shelf happens. So one of my thoughts, again, is just to measure from here all the way to here. And I came up with something like this. Now, these actually could be a little bit wider, but these work just perfectly. These are these are called Enter Designs. They're acrylic. They can be purchased at Home Goods, Container Store, Lowe's. Walmart has a brand called Mainstay that looks just like it. You're going to find your largest selection of these online at Container Store or in their store, but you can definitely find plenty of these at other local stores. I don't know if Bed Bath & Beyond has them. I'm not sure, but Home Goods does. And again, here's that shelf. That's where the next shelf starts. You've just created a drawer to pull out things to get what you've done. So you have really maximized every square inch of that space. And again, you can see through it and pull out your snacks and get what you want. So this is definitely an option for you to be able to do your snacks with and maximize your space all at the same time. So I'm going to show y'all another product that you can use now. Set these all aside. All right, so another idea, and I used to do this idea years ago. I don't do it anymore, but again, you decide on sort of what's good for your family. I used to have a basket on my kitchen countertops, and it had like a cloth in it, and I would just put all kinds of snacks that was for like after school snacks is when I actually did this. And I would just put all the snacks in. I actually found it in someone's home one time. That was a friend of mine years ago. And I thought, this is such a cool thing to be able to see this in the kitchen when you walk in. It just was inviting. It looked homey but trendy. And and it was just filled with all kinds of snacks. And this was the snacks that anyone can pull from. Now, if you have kids that's going to get these immediately when they come over, when they get home from school and they're going to have 3 or 4 of them, obviously you're going to have to regulate that. But I love the idea of just having snacks out on the counter. And something like this, you could put fresh fruit in there as well. The other thing that I saw recently, I thought, why don't we get like a cupcake stand where it had like a large round circular bottom and then a smaller one and then an even smaller one at the top, and it had a handle. You could put the snacks around something like that, still keep it on your kitchen countertops, but it serve as a cupcake stand or a dessert stand when you needed it. But during everyday use, it was more for your everyday snacks instead of using a basket. I thought, because those things can be bulky and hard to put away. And another little tip, you can use those types of trays to decorate Christmas stuff and use, well, that's a Christmas segment we're going to talk about, but you can use those trays if you're wanting to take the snacks off. You can use them for decorations and not food items during the Christmas season. It's amazing what you can do with those trays. They're not just for food. They can be used as decor in between the seasons. So baskets are good and a good, really homey type thing that you could do. Another idea for snacks, and I got this one, these next 2 things I got at Walmart as well. And these are stackable. Now you probably have seen the white plastic Sterilite type plastic. They have little holes in them that you can get them at Walmart, sometimes at Lowe's Container Store. They have normally gray or blue handles here. And people don't realize that these are the handles that actually make the product stack. Same thing with those plastic ones. They actually pop open and you can make these stack. I like these because the reason I like these is because they're reach-in. You could put your snacks in here depending on what you wanted. You could put your snacks in here for the family. I'm going to throw all the applesauces in the bottom down here. I'll angle this so you guys can sort of see what I'm doing. There we go. And we have some, that way and you don't have, they make them, I'm going to show you another size in this, but they make them, this could be more maybe for larger snacks. And you could have your crackers in here as well as there. And if you don't like this larger type size, I'm going to show you another size that you can get also at Walmart is this. They're the exact same design, but these are actually much more narrower or not as deep. Look at the depth difference in these. So you can see that this one's very deep, this one's very shallow. So if you have a very shallow shelf in your pantry, or you for whatever reason you want to, if you double it, you're not going to be able to reach it. But again, everyone has a different space they're looking for. But these don't have as much of as a storage room as these do. So I can also come in here and put these. But I like these because they're see-through. You can label these with really cute labels that can clip on, whether they're chalkboard, would be really cute. But you could just do some other kind of wicker ones as well. And again, reach in, and you can put these on your cabinets and be able to have a great option for your snacks. So are y'all feeling a little hungry because I'm showing all these snacks? Teddy Grahams. Who doesn't like Teddy Grahams? Oh, all these snacks are going to my grandkids. They're not going to be like overly joyed that Rainey, that's my name, Rainey, bought all these snacks and they get to have a few of them. So, all right, I think that's all of our, let me see if there's any more ideas that I had for, I think that's all the ideas that I had that I wanted to share today with you guys on organizing your snacks. So these are a Betty Homes and Garden product. Get them at Walmart. Again, they have the thinner, smaller ones, the deeper, wider ones that hold more taller ones. And again, this part right here folds in and they just keep stacking as long as you would like to. And if you have a problem, I mean, these are not going to come up unstuck. I mean, I just can't imagine. They're pretty good on there that you don't have to secure them down any other way. All right, so let's talk about our winner from last week and see who won from last week. We gave away last week a dinner time table devotional book. So basically, if you have your grandkids or you have your family or guests over, it's a really great idea to instill with them, some godly wisdom and moral value just by going over some discussions that build that kind of character. And they're short devotions that you can do at the dinner time table with your family. I think it doesn't even have to be if they're older or younger. It can be at any age. So take advantage of those conversations around the dinner table if you're having a hard time coming up with something. And these are just lifelong lessons that I think would be great. But the winner of this, actually, I don't have her name. I was a little disorganized, but I've already actually emailed her. And I think maybe it's Bailey. I can't remember. But whoever won this, I've already communicated with you, and we're going to get this out to you next week. It'll be probably actually arriving early next week, hopefully sooner. And you'll be able to enjoy this with your family on the dinner time table devotion book. Okay, so our giveaway this week. So everybody has miscellaneous jewelry pieces, earrings backs that have no matches. They have little diamonds or rhinestones or something that's come out of your set. Just little bitty things that you want to keep. You have intention of fixing them in the future, but just have not gotten around to it. These are 3 little plastic containers here, just like this. And we're going to give these away today, and they're colored. You can actually fold a little note if you need to in there, maybe mention what it is. We had a client a couple of years ago as well that when we went through and organized all her jewelry, we found this little bitty diamond, and basically we almost didn't see it. It was so tiny, but it meant the world to her. And a solution for that not to get lost and not to get overlooked is to put it in something bigger than it is. So whether you win these or not, always put those things, something in bigger than what it is, whether it's a Ziploc bag, whether it's a Tupperware type container, or something like this where you can actually see it and notice it. And so we're going to give that away. And how do you win that? So just give us a tip down below on our Facebook feed here of what you do to organize your snacks in your home. I'd love to know a product or a system or something you got going on with your family, and whatever you share about an organizing tip for snacks for your home, it will enter you into winning these for next week, and we will announce the winner next week. All right, our Tip Tuesday tool. I have a great product. I actually found it at Walmart when I was looking for these, and I love it. In fact, I bought one to try in my kitchen. Haven't tried it, but I love the idea. So let's see what's in the Tip Tuesday toolbox. I love my Tip Tuesday toolbox. Okay, so it's about eggs. Can you see? About eggs. This was actually in the kitchen department at Walmart. I want to say around $8 to $11. It has some parts, so make sure if you go get this, you make sure these parts are attached because you want to make sure someone hasn't accidentally pulled them off. And it is a tool that you can actually put in your refrigerator to store eggs and pull out by attaching it to a shelf in your refrigerator. So talk about truly maximizing space. I love this. I love it. Haven't used it yet, but I'm definitely going to try it. And let me see how many eggs it holds. 18 eggs, which is what I buy. We have too many people that eat eggs around here. It does and won't do it. So this is our Tip Tuesday tool. There is no tools required to install it as well. Holds 18 eggs. And now one of the things I wanted to see if I can do, I don't think it comes all the way out. So if you have it lined up in your refrigerator, and this is stationary, you pull it out and it just hangs out like that. You grab the eggs that you need and then you push it back in. So it is not something that you can take out and carry over to the stove with you. You would have to grab the eggs that you needed. So that may or may not work for you, but I thought it's a great idea. Let's going to see if it works. And so that is a mainstay brand at Walmart. So that's our Tip Tuesday tool. All right. I want to mention next week's Tip Tuesday, we're going to go in and under the cabinets. Next Tip Tuesday. I hope to show you guys some of my areas. My kitchen is definitely dated. It is not, we haven't remodeled it since we've been in this home, but I still want to share with you guys some ideas of being able to organize your spaces using just a few products that will help maximize space in your kitchen. And so we're going to go in and under cabinets next week. And I'll show you a couple areas in my kitchen that I think are very well organized, and I've used products to do such a thing. One of the services I want to highlight this week for Get Organized is obviously our kitchen organizing services, your kitchen space. If you are needing just a really deep clean out of your kitchen, maybe you need shelf liner put in, maybe you need different spaces to be organized for snacks. Maybe you need some homework stations in your home for when the kids are doing homework and you don't want to mix that with the food items, but it needs to be in the kitchen near the table. We can do that. We can completely go through all your expiration dates. We can decide on how often you bake, who's cooking, and it depends on who's cooking. If someone in your home is cooking and they're shorter and someone's cooking that's taller, you got to organize things differently. So keep in mind that this is a really good area if you're going to start organizing something. The kitchen's probably one of the biggest areas that the family gathers in that's going to be really beneficial for you to have it completely organized. And depending on size of your kitchen and the density, normally one day can completely get it all done, but it depends on the size, the density, and if we're going to do shelf liner in there at the same time, obviously that'll take more time. But please let us know if we can help you getting your kitchen organized or any other part of your home business or life. So, all right, well, that's all of our Tip Tuesday today. And thank you for joining us. I did want to mention one last time, if you're interested in winning these 4 cubes, and I would recommend using them for jewelry, storing parts of broken pieces or gems, things that you really need to get repaired, but you just haven't yet. They need to be in something bigger than what they are. And when you're organizing, you won't lose them, and they won't be lost basically. And I think it'll be a real help to you guys in organizing your jewelry, and you could use them for anything else you decide to. So, well, I am Lorraine Brock with Get Organized, and thank you for joining us with Tip Tuesday. And I would love to hear your comments down below about getting your snack areas organized or the products that you use to do such a thing. Thank you. Hope to see you next week on Tip Tuesday. Bye, guys.